All right. Welcome. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I discovered in 2020. I hadn't heard of that game. I thought it looked pretty stupid, honestly, when I first saw it. It's like, okay, why are these guys all chibi and like weird? Like they're not they're ordinary selves. Like the characters are like short and stocky, I guess, and like cutified. That's a word. But once I started playing it, I realized that it was going to be one of my favorite games. It's addictive, and the characters are awesome. Like, they have my favorite characters from the Darkstalkers franchise and from the Street Fighter Alpha franchise. And each character is really unique in that when they do their attacks and their combinations, they drop gems on the opponent. And when they drop gems, they'll drop them in a certain order, in a certain way, a certain pattern. So if you get a high streak going, depending on what character you have, they drop in a specific pattern that makes it either easier or more difficult for the enemy or you if you get them, attacked to you and you get them dropped on you. It will make it harder for you to get rid of them if the pattern isn't easily maneuverable for you to drop stuff onto it and break down the layers of gems. So yeah, the Street Fighter Alpha characters and the Darkstalker characters, and then there's a couple hidden characters that you can unlock by doing specific button combinations, directional combinations on the character select screen. So those characters, all of them, all together, are great. I'm glad that they did that in 1996, was include those characters. They're iconic and they're fun and they're cute. And the game comes off as it's like a casual game, but it's really hardcore. Like, it's really difficult too. This game, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, I like how it comes off the tongue, but Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo feels like it's supposed to be this like chill, easy game, but the difficulty is real. It took me a while to beat it on easy, and I think there's only 3 or 4 enemies, like matches on easy mode. But once you go up to medium, I think it's like 7 or 8, and then hard, I think it's like 10. I don't know exactly, but I know it increases the amount of matches. But the matches aren't traditional Street Fighter or Darkstalkers matches. It's like if you lose one, it's over. It's game over. You got a new credit. Another credit. It's like if I'm just trying to like vibe through and not really. Typically when I play fighting games, which this is a fighting game, but it's a puzzle game, but there's combat, but you're not directly, you're doing it with the gems, with the puzzle aspect of it. But the sound effects that the crystals or the gems make really add to the ambiance of the game. Like, they'll drop down and then they'll shatter, and it's like a really satisfying noise to have. When you're going to be hearing it all the time when you're playing that game, it's really satisfying to have those break down, and then they break down again if you do like the 2, 3, 4 times, drop, and it's like, and it just really makes me happy to hear it, and it's not annoying in any capacity. Because some games, I feel like when you hear the repetitiveness, like even this audio with some of the characters, they tend to say the same thing over and over, which most fighting games is like that, but these ones, they're not annoying. They more stand out as like enduring, and they stand out in my mind when I play the game. They stand out, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't annoying. Like, it's cute. Like, Morgan, she'll like laugh and stuff, and it's like they're having a good time. They're having a fun time in their little puzzle game. It's cool. It's enjoyable. The characters, noises, sounds add to the ambiance and the character of the game. The gems, their noises and sounds add to the ambiance, and it comes together as a cohesive thing. And then when you get the audio tracks from the Darkstalker games and the audio tracks, the music from the levels in Street Fighter Alpha series, it just comes together and it makes me super happy to play this game. I enjoy hearing like Sakura's theme and Chun-Li's theme when I'm playing against them, because the Alpha series is my favorite like offshoot of Street Fighter. My favorite type of Street Fighter game is Alpha 2, and so this is like almost a branch off of the Alpha series with the Darkstalker characters. So it's something that I feel like was made specifically for me, which is really interesting because I didn't play this game up until, like I said, 2020. So 2020, I found that game, thought it looked weird, was like, but then I realized like how in-depth the puzzle mechanics are and how much character is brimming with it. And I was big into fighting games at that point, so it reminded me of a fighting game, and it was a puzzle game, so it's a fighting puzzle game mixture, and it's an arcade game at that. So it's just a game for me, and I love it, and I will continue to play it, and I will continue to pop it on, and it goes right alongside Tetris. So Tetris or Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. For some reason that like seems like a tongue twister to me when I think about saying it. It's like, what's one of your favorite games? Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I don't know. I'm having an aneurysm. So we went over, the music, sound effects, all right, and then the type of blocks and the combos that are possible. You add them together to make bigger blocks, which I will be showing the tutorial. It's going to be sped up. I think it's like 500%. But like you add them together and you drop them down, and they come usually in pairs of colors. It'll be two things, and there'll be two different colors with the possibility of having like the break gems. So you're trying to basically get bigger and bigger gems, which I don't really do. I haven't mastered this game really by any means. It's hard for me to play defense against the computer while really trying to plan it out, because they'll drop stuff on you and it's like, well, you just screwed up my whole thing, which is the point. It's a difficult arcade style fighting game, puzzle game, but it's overwhelmingly complex, and it doesn't look like it would be. So when you fire it up, it's like, but then you start to realize, like, if you don't have the skills and if you don't have the foresight to start planning ahead preemptively for getting dropped on, like, you got to know what character's pattern he has in order to really be prepared to play defense against these guys, because they'll drop them on you and I had this all lined up and now I'm buried, and then all of a sudden it's over, and there's not 2 rounds per match, it's 1 match, you're over. But all you got to do is beat them once too. So it's cool, it's intense, it's heart racing. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can do this. So yeah, it's a difficult game for sure. What I realized over time too is that they have the same, every time you start the level, the stage, they have the same drops as you. So the patterns aren't different per player. It's the same gems. Like, if you're going faster than them, obviously you're going to get, but you're going to get what they're going to get. So you guys have the exact same opportunities to send the exact same stuff at them, but it's just about how and where and when you put the stuff down. So like, you could just kind of watch them and learn from them too, because they're getting the same stuff as you. But once they send one over, you know, it's different simply because you have more gems to work with, and some of them will be blacked out where you can't get rid of them yet. But it is interesting to see that and to notice that as I play. When you start out, you guys are getting the exact same colored gems. Same thing. So it's about, you know, what you do with it. But anyways, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Great game. I love puzzle games. I love fighting games. I love Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha. So it's got me written all over it. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in.